Hey, what's going on, YouTube? All right, so this is possibly going to be a quickie, lurked, possibly not. I don't know. But I finally, as I belched through each finally, finished all of Being Mary Jane. I watched all of the individual seasons, and I've seen the season finale, and I am happy to say the season finale, the series finale wrapped things up the way that I was hoping it would all be wrapped up. And everybody got a man in the end, and it's so beautiful. And there was some trials and struggles along the way, but any script has that. But at the end of the day, everybody got a man at the end of the day. So I just need my Patrick so he can be my man, Mary Jane's brother. Either brother, because they're both fine and they're both they're not little kids, suffice it to say. So, there's one thing that really kind of bothered me on the show. So, sometimes I will, and not sometimes, I pretty much always watch on-demand video content with the closed captioning on, because sometimes I feel like, well, maybe if I miss something that somebody says, it would be good to be able to look and be like, oh, okay, that's what they said. Okay, gotcha. So I won't have to rewind the whole thing. Or even if I do choose to rewind the whole thing, chin up. That's what they say on Being Mary Jane. Even if I choose to rewind the whole thing, I'll be able to fully verify exactly what was said. But I acknowledge that sometimes, brand new heavies. I acknowledge that sometimes the closed captioning is not what's actually being said. It's more of a script to screen situation. And in this particular case, for example, Morris Chestnut was dating Mary Jane, Being Mary Jane, Mary Jane Paul, Pauletta, Mary Jane Paul, and there was a line where he was sort of upset with Justin. And, okay, so this is part of the reason that I love the show. They're all very upper middle class people, and all very professional, and all of that. And Mary Jane was dating Justin, who was the executive producer at her show, where she is an on-air, she's an anchor, a news anchor. And Justin was her on-air producer, and they were dating, and there's like some blah, 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 blah. But then for the series finale, because 50 Cent canceled the show, but for the series finale, Morris Chestnut enters as a potential for Mary Jane because Justin walked out on her with his fine self. Michael Ealy, Morris Chestnut's fine self, to everybody on the show is fine. Oh my gosh. That's why I love watching it. That's part of the reason. That and the fact that it's a well done show. What I'm talking about, though, in this particular instance, Morris Chestnut's character was upset with Michael Ealy, Justin's character, about something that he did, and he was referencing Justin on the phone, and Morris Chestnut was referencing Michael Ealy, Justin, and he was upset with what Justin did to Mary Jane, and he was like, that brother needs to check himself, or something like that. That brother needs to do whatever. But That's not what the captioning said. Because even when I heard it, I was like, I'm glad that he said brother instead of what he could have said. Because sometimes in cases like that, when somebody's upset, a show will often have the character say the N-word. And I was like, but this is Being Mary Jane. Like, in the whole series, nobody's ever said the N-word, because the whole point is that they're very upper middle class people, you know? So they don't, there's, as somebody who has some experience in that realm, now, not me personally right now per se, but I've seen it, and there are just certain things that we don't say. There are certain things that on that level you just don't say. You know, there are certain ways you just don't communicate. I get it, how other people communicate like that, but it would have made no sense, because Morris Chestnut said, man, that brother needs to check himself, or something along those lines. But the closed captioning, script to screen, read that nigger. And not nigga, but nigger. And I'm like, both would have been whack, okay, because Morris Chestnut's character was a well-to-do businessman who, you know, I mean, because Mary Jane, like, she's up there, you know. So Morris Chestnut's character was wooing her, so of course Mary Jane is not going to be wooed by some counter clerk at McDonald's or something like that. So anyway, all of that to say, he too has money, and it just would have felt so forced if he would have said that nigger or that nigga. It would have felt like they were just forcing him to say that in the script. And I'm like, why would they even write that in the script though? You know, and it just looked so ugly. Like, to hear him say that brother and to read the closed captioning said that nigger. And I'm like, what? I just didn't get it. Make it make sense, as Justin James says. And I love me some Justin James. I do. Anyway, but Justin James is my gorgeous thick dark chocolate crush. No, I'm kidding. Well, he is a crush of mine, but he totally has a man, and I'm totally happy for him. And he references his bae in videos. It makes me wonder, like, should I do that in my relationships? Like, reference the fact that I have a bae when I have a bae, but not put him on camera with me. Although I'm not gonna lie, honestly, like, even looking back at my old videos with Kevin, I'm like, we had a chemistry. In my opinion, I really felt that we did. Like, some of the videos, it was just so happy. And I know it seems like I talk about him a lot. I know. But Kevin and I had an on-screen chemistry that also lasted even when the cameras went off. But all of that to say, I feel that our social media, open in social media romance was appropriate to the extent that, you know, we're both those kind of people. And I feel that it was good. But the other part of me is like, well, maybe Kevin should have just been that guy that I'm like, me and Bay are doing something. But anyway, like I said, he was good on camera. I was good with him on camera. So why not, you know? Although I know, you know what? I think that's going to be a question for Verse T. social media couples. Huh. Okay. But yeah, the script to screen, it just felt so dirty looking at it say the N word just all spelled out like that. And I'm like, I'm so glad Morris Chestnut opted to say brother. And I know brother isn't something that people have really said since the 90s on TV, but I really appreciated that. I really appreciated his choice not to go with whatever the script said in that instance. Thank you, Morris Chestnut. Because that like I said, that would have been the first time in the whole show that somebody used that word. And it would have just felt so awkward. It would have felt like they were whatever. Whoever wrote that in the script, bad. Morris Chestnut for not saying it, good. Because that's not his character. That's not the character you're playing. Anyway, talk to y'all later, social media world. Peace. Stay blessed.